Good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me with another YouTube video. I actually hit a huge milestone on my YouTube channel. I'm officially over 20,000 subscribers. When I started posting to YouTube 2 months ago, my goal was to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2024, and it's May and I've already hit that goal. So thank you to everyone who's subscribed, everyone who watches and leaves me like very sweet comments. And I plan on just continuing making more content here on the farm. I am a 5th generation farmer in the Midwest. I farm in Kansas on my family farm, and then I also own my own farm separate from my family. And so on this channel I show a little bit of everything in my life. So if you like this channel, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram to see more of my daily life. Today I'm going to be taking you along on a little day in the life, some random tasks that I have to get done today. And the first thing that I have to do today is rotating pastures. So I have goats and I intensively graze small sections of my pastures to increase or improve the quality of my pastures. These pastures used to be for horses, and the previous owner of these lands kind of overgrazed, so there's a lot of weeds. So right now I am mob grazing with my goats. I'm also doing a lot of mowing, a lot of rotations, and today I'm going to be moving the mesh electric fence to move my goats to the new section. So the sections that I'm grazing them, I have a very small herd here at this location. The herd that I have are like bottle babies or injured goats. So the small herd that I have here really only needs a small section of grass, and then I move them every 72-ish hours. So that way I don't have to use up a large portion of my farm, so I can leave the rest to hay production. So let's move that fence and get these goats moved to greener pastures. Real quick, I do want to talk about this mesh electric fencing. So if you do raise livestock, especially goats or sheep, and you're looking into portable electric fencing, I would say this is one of my favorite options. We bought all of this mesh fencing from, I don't even know what it says. I think Premier about 9 years ago. And so we've been using it for 9 years. I just have like 3 strands of it here for this small little pasture, but we have dozens of more strands that we use throughout the summer to section off for our large herd of goats, and I'm a big fan. It's great for keeping the kids inside the fence. Goats are notorious for being kind of escape artists, so if you have goats and you're looking for an electric fence option, definitely go with mesh fencing. It can be run on, battery, or we just plug it in the 110 outlet if you have the correct charger for it. But definitely a huge fan of this mesh electric fencing. I would say it is kind of time consuming to put it out, but it's a lot less time consuming than chasing down your herd of goats when they escape and get into your cornfield. There is nothing more annoying than your corn, sprouting, and then you see a couple escaped goats out there just going down and snacking their whole way down. So investing in electric fence, especially ones that will keep goats in, is going to be your #1 priority if you're going into goats or sheep. It is 7:30 a.m. and my socks are already wet. My number one tip when moving electric fence is not to do it in the morning, because getting soggy boots this early in your workday, not a good time. I want to show you the impact of mob grazing. So I'm going to show you the pasture that they are coming off of and then the pasture they're going into, so you can see the drastic damage that goats can do in just a small amount of time of grazing. As you can see, I mowed the perimeter. That way I can put the fencing up. So there's a fair amount of grazing in here. I'm assuming this section will probably last, we'll have to judge it, but probably 6 to 7 days. Normally I would split a paddock this big in half for the herd size I have, so that way I can truly do the mob grazing, but the shade is only on one half of the little paddock over there, and I want to make sure that my goats have shade while they're in this little section. So let's get this fence up. Now that I have my fence put up, I'm going to hook it up to electricity. So I have my grounding rod here. You can't ground through paint or rust, so I'm going to grind it down a little. You can see here they are freshly in this pen, and they all run straight to this mulberry tree. Now that it is spring and everything on our farm is now growing, everything is completely planted, I'm gonna kind of give you a little field tour of our different fields to kind of see how all of our crops are coming up. So I'm first gonna start with my flower field. So the other day I showed here on YouTube planting some zinnias, and I just wanted to show kind of the progress. Zinnias usually sprout between 4 and 10 days. I think this is day 6. So let's take a look at what is coming up. You can see them coming up. I would say right now I probably have a 90% success rate. This row right here has no landscaping fabric, and I hand planted 25 feet of it and then broadcasted 25 feet of it. I would say the germination rate is a much lower, only probably maybe 25% of these seeds have germinated and sprouted up, whereas with the landscaping fabric, much higher success. I think the landscaping fabric probably makes the soil temperature a little higher, and that's why I'm seeing those pop up a little bit quicker. But I guess we'll kind of see. If I'm not seeing much success here by day 10, when they should all be coming up, I will probably till it under and just do the landscaping fabric. On Monday, I'm going to be planting in succession, so doing my next round of flowers with some different varieties, and I'm going to be probably using landscaping fabric just because I really think it's going to be great for weed control. So that's the flower field progress. Let's go check out corn. All right, we are in the cornfield. As you can see, The cover crop that was sprayed has now died. The corn has emerged. We have had a lot of heavy rains lately, and this field is our tiled cornfield, and the tiling is underneath and it kind of brings the water table down and kind of pulls the water down. And so in this field we don't have any puddles from the heavy rains, so it's looking really good. When you're looking at corn, you want it to kind of emerge and pop up like a picket fence, so everything kind of in row, same height. So looking pretty good. How cool, I found a little killdeer nest. And looks like something happened right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Something must have happened with the planter. So might as well just, oops. Oh, it'd be nice if I got the actual seed pulled out. Dig one up so you can see. All right, so you can see the kernel of corn there. And then we have V1, V2, V3, V4, and then V5's coming on up. Eventually, probably V1 and V2 will be shed off, but so far, good little start to our growing season. In case you were wondering, this field is Pioneer seed. I think I chose 111-day corn because we were planting pretty easy this year. Or I mean pretty early this year. And looks like it's going so well. So fingers crossed for a little more rain, no hail, and just good weather the rest of this summer. Let's go check out my soybean field. All right, so I am in my soybean field and I wanted to point something out to you. So right here we have volunteer corn. One thing that I've noticed is in the areas of my field where I till, my volunteer corn, basically corn that was left over from last year, is much more abundant. And it's basically like when I till, I'm replanting from last year. So if I didn't plant it on purpose, it's a weed. So I'm gonna pull all this volunteer corn out and let's take a look at how my soybeans are doing. So soybeans are coming up nicely with all the rains we've been having. While I'm out here checking the fields, I'm just looking at emergence, seeing if all of the soybeans have come up at the same rate, so same height, nice uniform spacing, and then also just checking on weeds, making sure that my herbicides worked. So everything's looking great in this field. All right, this is a nice little stand of beans. This area of the field was tilled. I am standing in my no-till soybeans. As you can see, I'm going to show a little comparison of, you know, the tilled versus no-tilled. And you can see that the no-till ground is kind of an ugly duckling. It doesn't look maybe as uniform because the soybeans might not be able to come up from the root balls of the corn. But it'll kind of even out in the long run. One nice thing about no-till is kind of this organic material that'll trap in moisture. So when the rains do stop, this ground will still stay wet a lot longer.